What is up, everybody? It is Tuesday, not Monday, and we don't have four-man front, but we do have cover two coming at you tonight. Coach, my man, is joining me. Listen, four-man front, no go this week. Grant decided to take a vacation, much needed before training camp. Totally understood. We'll be back at it next week on Coach's channel, but we still got to get in cover two. We didn't do it last night. Coach, how you doing, my man?
I'm good, bruh. How have you been, man?
Good, man.
Getting closer to real football. Dead period is almost over, which it's like we're in that position where we've gone too far to turn back, but the end is nowhere in sight. We're kind of stuck in the mud, but I feel good, man. You know, get the end of the month, get camp going, and before you know it, football's here.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. It is almost here. And I will say there is, and we're going to talk about it here in a little bit with some of these ESPN rankings, but over the next week, ESPN does these rankings where they take executives. So they take executives, they take scouts, they take coaches, and there's over 70 of them total that vote. And every year they do their top 10 lists at all the positions. Obviously, everybody loves the quarterback rankings, but they've done it here with running back rankings. Let's just talk about it now. So it's our show. We can talk about what we want.
Do whatever we want.
Let's talk about the running back rankings. So I'm going to give you 1 through 10. Spoiler alert, Christian McCaffrey's at number 5. But they've got Saquon Barkley number 1.
Okay.
Any qualms with that? You agree, disagree?
For the number 1 running back in the league?
Yeah.
No.
I think Saquon's pretty fair coming off
for the year.
Season.
Yes.
Okay. So we got Saquon Barkley. We got Derrick Henry number 2.
Okay.
We got Jahmyr Gibbs number 3. We got Bijan Robinson number 4. And then we've got Christian McCaffrey. And then I'll give you the final 5 as we get, round out the top 10 or whatever. We got Josh Jacobs, our favorite running back in the world, Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, Joe Mixon, and Alvin Kamara. What do you think about these Christian McCaffrey rankings? Number 5.
I think they're adequate, especially for if it's a recency deal, like we're going off of what your last tape is your best tape, so to speak.
Yeah.
Christian is lucky to be a 5. So for me, I think that's more than fair. I would almost not be surprised if anybody pushed back and said that he was too high. If we're going now, mind you, I always love to miss the premise. The premise is this year, this past season. So yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Well, I mean, I think it's tough, right? Because to me, Christian McCaffrey is the hardest running back in the NFL to rank. Like he just is, because you don't know exactly what he's going to be. Let me give you an example. If Christian McCaffrey was coming off the season he just had, but was 26, you'd probably have him a little bit higher even. Like, oh, okay, like he had some injury things going on, but he's 26. He's going to be good to go. He's still a top 3 running back. We're talking about a guy that when the last time we saw him was the offensive player of the year, dang near won MVP. That guy's not a top 3 running back, but because he's 29, you've got to deal with, okay, he's coming off of an injury and a season he didn't really produce. And he's at an age where a lot of running backs fall off the cliff. So it's like, I think 5 is totally fair, but it's also really, really hard to rank him. Like, can I see a scenario where he finishes top 3 again? I would say probably not. But could I see a scenario where he's outside of the top 10? I could. So I think 5 is completely fair.
Yeah. I'm looking at Christian's career, and like there's almost like a slight argument for 2019 was better than 2023. With him being a rusher. One thing that I will tell you is that now that I'm looking at certain things.
Hey, coach, sorry. You're just cutting out a little bit. I don't know if it's.
I'm sorry. Am I closer now? Sorry, my bad. I was trailing away. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
I'm talking into the mic. Pause. So,
all right.
What kills me is, just a couple of like the years that he had, I'm surprised that Christian has only averaged over 5 yards per carry twice in his career,
Mm-hmm.
in his entire career. Like, like stuff like that is why it's not, the devil is in the details. And what happens is when you see a player, like Christian, who is, like you said, he's hard to assess. And one of the reasons why it's hard to assess is because he brings a lot of athleticism from the passing game. He's not necessarily he's a rough runner. He's not a tough runner. There's a difference, right?
Okay.
Like Christian is rough, where from a standpoint of Christian won't get tackled by arm tackles. He will go into seams that don't have daylight. He will push. But as far as a tough runner, like running through people, being refused to be tackled, wearing down a defense with your north and south attitude, running behind your pads, that's really never been Christian. You know what I'm saying? So for me, is he a traditional back? No. He's done a hell of a lot with his skill set, but his career kind of speaks to what he truly is. He's an athletic, all-purpose back and in order for you to get everything you want out of him, you're going to have to use him more than just running the ball. That's the thing. If you have Christian and you keep him at running the ball only, that's what you would assume when you're naming all of those guys. I mean, if you have Saquon Barkley number one, I mean, I'm not here to, disparage his skill set, but Saquon Barkley isn't necessarily a receiving back, right? He's not catching the ball out of the backfield a ton. He can do it, right? But, for him to be number one, and then you get guys like Bijan, and then, Derrick Henry doesn't do it at all. It's kind of like once you see the list, you have to start asking yourself the operative question, which is this truly about runners, right? Or is this truly about athletes at running back? Because then there's a whole different.
Jahmyr Gibbs is number 3. I think that's, we talk about an athlete at running back. That's about as athletic as it gets. You know what I mean? I'll
give you that.
New Christian McCaffrey. Right?
I hate to say this, but has Christian McCaffrey ever been as dynamic as Jahmyr Gibbs?
Oh no, not athletically. No, not athletically. He's not. On
you see what I'm saying? So it's like he gets the uptick because Jahmyr Gibbs is literally 1 foot from sticking into the dirt and going yard. He's got home run ability. You know what I mean? I look at Jahmyr Gibbs, and I know a lot of people don't want to say this, but you got to start looking at Jahmyr Gibbs. My player comp for Jahmyr Gibbs is CJ2K, Chris Johnson, right? You got to look at a guy with smooth speed. He can get to the edge. He puts 1 foot in the ground. He's going to outrun you. He's smaller than CJ. CJ was a bigger back than him. But as far as a guy who he can get to the edge, stick his foot in the ground, he plays really well with angles. That's kind of who I liken Jahmyr Gibbs' game to.
I feel like he's bigger than CJ2K. I could be wrong, but either way, he's a much better pass catcher than CJ2K. Like CJ2K was a great runner and dynamic, could like take it. I see what you're saying as far as like he could go yard anytime he touches the ball. Like he has that athleticism. I get that. But he's so dynamic as a pass catcher, man. I mean, he's just I don't know.
And I hate to put it to you this way, like Christian is more of a one-cut back. He's a slasher, right?
He is.
CJ2K, man. I mean, not CJ. Listen, Jahmyr Gibbs is like, dude, he will get in the open field. He's just an athlete. You know what I mean? Like, he will take you out of he'll give you anything. He'll slash on you. He can break you down with a quick move, or he'll just blow right past you. Now, one thing that I will say that I would give CMC over Jahmyr Gibbs is I think Jahmyr is a little light in the ass. Like, Christian is a much tougher runner than him.
Yeah, of course he is. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're different styles. I guess basically when I brought up Jahmyr Gibbs, though, I was saying more so, if they've got him at 3 and CMC at 5, they are, and even Bijan Robinson in there, he's, whatever at 4, they are starting to give love to the guys that do more than just run the football at that point. You know what I mean? I don't know that the list, I think the list is just tailored to those were the two best running backs last year, and they were
Mm-hmm.
Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. They just were. But I will say Derrick Henry's. It's hard not to rank him two off the season, but we're talking about what he's going to be 30, 31, I think 31 potentially. So, eventually he's going to fall off too. Like, could that be this year? What does that look like? So we'll see how it plays out. I just think Christian McCaffrey is really hard to rank based off of his age and the season he's coming off of. I think 5
Mm-hmm.
is fair. I don't
And
see him
again,
ever being top 3 again, though. I really don't.
I agree with D's. I'm in that boat too. The last
In
comment.
what sense?
I'm a part of that. Dog, Derrick Henry, let me tell you, and I love Derrick Henry. But I'll tell you this, man. When it's time, when you need him in crunch time, dog, he is nowhere to be found. You have to take him off the field. Another thing about Derrick Henry, too, is that you can't really put the team on his back. He's a good back. He's a good back when you pace him out. But you can't give Derrick Henry the ball 30 times at this stage of his career or 25 times. He's just not the same back. Tired quickly. And then also, another thing about Derrick that I will say is that if you get up on him quick, all of the athleticism and the strength that he possesses doesn't really turn on until he gets kind of like ahead of steam.
Going. Yeah.
Yeah. He needs space to get going. Like, but if you get on top of him fast, like, he's not that dynamic of a back. And another thing about Derrick Henry is that he got put on like one of the biggest stages in football now. It's not Tennessee. So like you got to kind of make it count in Baltimore. And ask him to come off the field in crunch time is kind of nuts.
I mean, I don't know about all of that. I mean, listen, I think there was a point where I was kind of on that bandwagon as far as like where he ranked in history.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at his playoff numbers. My G. I mean, he averages 5.1 yards per attempt in the playoffs, 9 games, 1,000 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns. I don't know how that's overrated. I mean, I feel like that's about as good as you can perform, especially when you were in Tennessee and everybody knew you were going to touch the ball. Everybody knew you were going to touch the ball. And he still was able to put up pretty damn good numbers. I don't know, man. I would say that I don't know that he's overrated. I mean, it's just
He
me.
is. I think he's overrated. You put it like this. You take Derrick Henry and you say, like, all right, Derrick Henry did all of that with the Titans. Well, that's what the Titans were, by the way. They were like 3 yards in the cloud of dust. So good on him for bringing up numbers. Like, I'll give you that. But what I'm looking at is, all right, man, you're behind a better O-line. You're with a better team with a better quarterback. Like, where's the force contributor? Like, where's the tilt? That's what I'm saying. Like,
He had 1,900 yards rushing and 19 touchdowns. Like, what more do you want
I'm
him
just
to
saying,
do?
like,
Or 16 touchdowns.
but
Like,
that's not what
more can he do?
This is why I don't like having this conversation with you, because I didn't say he doesn't do enough. I didn't ask you what more can he do. I said that in crunch time he disappears. That's what I said. I didn't say that he doesn't have numbers. You guys are bringing up these numbers and all. I get that, but that's not what I said. What I said is that I agree with Deez's comment is that he's overrated. And I gave the reasons why he's overrated in crunch time. Asked him to come off the field, eating a full head of steam, necessarily being predictable. It happened. Like, I'm not the only one who saw it. So you could bring me all of the numbers that he had with a great
let's talk
team.
about what you talked about. Let's talk about what you talked about then, which is he's not there in crunch time. So in what do you mean by he's not there in crunch time?
The last game that the Ravens played, in the fourth. I'm saying I think they were down. They were trying to come back. It was like one of those moments where it was like, dude, you have to be on the field. He was tired.
I don't think he was tired. I don't think he was tired. I think they had to pass the ball, and they've got one of the best receiving backs as his backup, and that's the smart thing to do, is to put the guy who's a pure receiver on the field when you're going to inevitably pass the ball. Why would you put even if Derrick Henry's good at it, that's not his specialty. You've got a specialty back who is elite as a pass catcher as your backup. You want him to not be on. you want Henry on the field just for the sake of putting, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you put him on the field in that situation?
Dude, listen, my thing is like, put your best players on the field. Like, I'm not trying to attack you, but right now you're thinking like Kyle Shanahan. Like, why would you put, you have your special guy that knows exactly what to do? Like, nah, bro. Like, he is supposed to be there. When you sign a guy like Derrick Henry, in my opinion, you sign him to get you over the hump, right? All of those numbers and all of the stuff that Derrick Henry did for the Ravens was a net zero because they ended up where they were last year. Like, they didn't win. And for me, all right, look, I'll do it your way. Let's say that, schematically, it wasn't good for Derrick Henry to be on the field at the time. I'll do it your way. Still, even if it was schematically not right for him to be on the field at a time, that's what we have right now, where it's like we're down at crunch time and there's a part of the game that your skill set cannot reach. So we have to take you out. Like, for me, that's not.
I disagree with that. I think
Tell me
that's
why.
that's way too black and white. You're saying his skill set can't reach it. That may not be true, but if you have somebody whose skill set is superior in that area, have them on the field. That's like saying, if I have, I don't know, a really good, Jahmyr Gibbs is a great example of this.
Mm-hmm.
Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, he did it. And when he was the only back, he was getting touchdowns at the goal line, but he's not, even though he can do it and he's good at it, he's not as good as Montgomery at being the power back. So you put in Montgomery in those situations. Like, it's not that player can't do it, but if you've got somebody who's literally elite at the one thing you're looking for, you put that player in. Like, I don't think that's an indictment on Henry. I think that's just, you got a player in there that is so good at what you need in that situation, you can't not have him on the field.
Look at Lee Ving's last comment. I agree with that perfectly. And not to hijack the show, but I agree with that perfectly. That's what I mean. So, yes, maybe D's put out that.
That's fair.
Maybe D's put out that Derrick Henry is overrated, but I deem that this is the reason why.
Okay. All right. Steve-O, shut the fuck up. Seriously, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm not going to get on here and have a fake argument over some, like, we go in, this is supposed to be 1 of 5 topics. We'll probably get to 3 because this is what we do, but we always find something to disagree about. That's just, we have this conversation all the time. I hate when, you're fake. Dude, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Seriously.
You got Jesse cursing, dog. It's over for you, Steve-O.
God, dude, that's so annoying. Don't watch, bro. Don't. It's a fake conversation. Yeah, we're up here scripting conversations for YouTube for 100 people to watch us live. Like, what are we talking about? God, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Shut the fuck up. Gosh.
I saw him put it. I was like, I wonder if Jesse's gonna notice that shit.
God, dude. Dangerous Dave's Jeep Trip says, my guys, what's up? Good to see you. What's up, man? How are you? Keeping the faith. This is what I was telling you about, Coach, on the phone earlier. He said, heads up, 49ers public practices will be very limited this year. That's what I told you that today, that's what I'd heard the same exact thing. And
we ain't going. Like,
it's not going to happen. I don't think so.
I'm going to be real with you, bro. I'm trying to keep this content creator safe. The 49ers have an issue with their fans. They have a serious issue with, they have this don't feed the animals approach when it comes to fans that, quite frankly, is disgusting. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not disheartening. It's not like saddening. It's not irritating or annoying. It's disgusting. The 49ers disrespect the hell out of the fans all the time. And you know what's crazy is that we have proof of concept because there's 31 other teams in the NFL who do far more for fans all the time, dude. Like, son, we go to practices. They put us in a single file line and make us snake into the bleachers like we're children. All the rest of the teams in the NFL have put out their camp dates for when they're going to have camp and when they're going to have practices. These are people that take time off, take money off. People set their vacations by this stuff. And all of this is for what? For some weak ass competitive edge why you won't put stuff out? They don't even warm up to content creators, us, and we push their brand, bro. They don't do anything as far as access, vibe, information. And then on top of it, they got a big ass studio in there that they don't even use. Bro. The Niners are profiteering off of a legacy that preceded them, that was here before them. And now, you know what the Niners are, bro? The Niners are that good ass spot, that good ass restaurant that you found. And all of a sudden they went franchise and now they're shit. They're horrible because they got all the money. They made their money and now they're pushing Pollo Loco all over the place. 49ers is just another weak ass Pollo Loco. That's all they are. Only opening up tickets to season ticket holders, making regular fans wait. What is wrong with you? Do you understand gas costs like $10 a gallon out there? Like, where is your consideration for the blue collar fan? The Niners, bro, are so uppity, bro. I am tired of following this team. And it starts with Kyle. Bro. He is a horrible man. I do not like him. I'm telling you, bro, because he always does this crap. It's like, do you understand that we're the ones who pay your salary? It's us. We pay you, bro. We are the reason why you wear Yeezys. We pay for those Yeezys. What is wrong with you? Like, I'm done.
You mean we as fans, right? Like just
yeah,
fans in general.
Yeah, I'm done.
When you're saying
they disrespect us, bro.
You're not saying we as content creators. You're saying we as fans. Yeah, I get it.
Yes.
Listen, that was a really good fake rant of yours. I'm glad we
I'm
reversed
dead
it.
ass, bro.
Really, I'm joking.
I'm so over them. Like waiting. We have to sit here like we're waiting in the courtyard of the Sistine Chapel, waiting for the Pope smoke. Can we? When are the dates? Can we figure out when you're practicing? Man, fuck y'all. Waiting on you motherfuckers.
It is crazy to think about that every other team either has sold their tickets already to training camp or at least have a date on their website of when you can buy said tickets. The 49ers, you call them and they literally like, we don't know yet. It'll be mid-July. And you're like, well, mid-July next week. Next week we are 1 week away from training camp starting, and you don't even have a date of when they are going on sale to season tickets. Never mind the fact that people fly out of town like us to go watch it, whatever. Who cares? Let's say we can't go, not worried about it.
Cool.
But you've got people that live there locally that want to take their kids to go watch them. And it's like, well, I don't know what days to even request off of work because I don't know what days practice is going to be open. And then I don't know how many tickets I'm going to get or if I'm going to be able to get them. Like, it is crazy, bro. It's absolutely
nuts,
crazy,
bro.
They treat the fans really
like
bad.
Yo, the disrespect, the lack of self-awareness, like the inability to have outreach and go outside and touch grass. This is around the time. What is John Harbaugh doing right now? What's Jim Harbaugh doing with the Chargers right now? What's he doing? He's opening up the doors to everyone because he understands that exposure for his team is here for the better. Dude, it's like, and I'm tired of faking like this team. Everything that's good that happens to this team is because of Kyle Shanahan. John is the one who built the culture, okay? Jed pays the checks. It's like, dude, I'm tired of him. I'm tired. I told you this morning. I'm sorry. I'm bringing a conversation on live. I told you this morning. I'm tired of supporting not the Kyle Shanahans, not the 49ers. I'm tired of supporting Kyle Shanahan. I'm tired of him being the head coach. I'm over it. I personally do not like him. He's annoying me. He needs to leave. This is the dumbest shit, dude. Like the stupid stuff that he does.
I will say I know for a fact that he wanted to cut down training camp viewership in half as far as the days a year ago. I heard this. And then the fact that now they're saying, oh, tickets are going to be limited. It's like, all right, well, this is definitely coming from Kyle.
They ain't that special, bro.
It does,
and since I seen that,
it is crazy.
Yeah, so when I saw that, that pissed me off, dog. Fuck y'all. Oh, tickets are inevitable. I got one better for you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I ain't coming. Fuck you. All of you.
This is the NSFW show of the week. I've never
that pissed me off, man.
In my life, and you're going crazy. This is great. Manhattan says, what will influence the 49ers' success next season more? The return of Robert Saleh and his influence on the defense, or the new special teams approach in the this is actually a very good question, because all the conversation is absolutely around the defense and Robert Saleh, but the special teams is quietly making a ton of moves. And Brant Boyer, did you watch when they interviewed Brant Boyer, just how passionate he was around special teams? He got me fired up over special teams. It's like, man, this guy really cares about it. It's a big deal to him. Special teams, I think, could be a major difference maker this year in a positive way. I really do.
Yeah, he gets. I like Brent Boyer's energy around it, his passion. He's got guys that come in. He's got guys that come in. One thing that I like about him is that he's not just had guys that came in that from other destinations, other teams rather, but he seemingly has had his hand in the draft process for bringing in Berger, right? Yeah. So I'm excited to see what he does. We haven't had anybody from special teams actually kind of like make a name for the unit, right? As far as special teams is concerned, outside of Robbie Gould kind of holding down the fort for years, God, we miss Robbie Gould now. But outside of Robbie Gould holding down the fort for years, and us having like loving Tabor Pepper, like we need a serious guy there. So I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah, I am too. Hugo says, I have a bet at work with multiple coworkers on which teams make the playoffs in sequence and what teams make it to the Super Bowl. What teams? Dope. I'll tell you this. I mean, this is tough. That's a really tough bet to make. Like, hey, these are the teams and this is the seeding they're going to get. That's crazy.
There got to be money up for that.
I will say there's teams that worry me this year that were in last year. Washington Commanders worry me. The Chargers worry me. I'm really high on Denver this year. Really high on Denver. The Texans even worry me a little bit. A lot of people are like, oh, they're Super Bowl contenders. In fact, we're going to talk about it in a second. That O-line, man, and it didn't get better. It might have gotten worse. They just didn't do anything. I think everybody was shocked. I thought we were, because they had glaring holes. We thought they were going to get that together in the draft, but that they didn't. Kind of running it. They're doing it live. Do it live. Dangerous Dave's Jeep Trips. What's up, Dave? He says, get it, Jesse, and thanks for watching my stuff. That Jeep trip on your birthday was pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of glued to it.
Oh, is that Dave? Oh, is that Dave? Our Dave Sims?
Yeah.
Yo, Dave.
Yep.
Yo, Dave. We're truck bros. I got the power wagon, Dave.
You are truck bros now. Speaking of, let's talk about the Super Bowl. So this stems from Mike Florio. He laid out like his recipe to contenders and non-contenders. So, and I like this. I kind of agree with this. He goes, most years there's 10 teams that have a real shot. There's 10 teams that have no shot. Then there's 12 teams that could go either way. Like, you just don't know exactly what you're going to get from them. Are they going to be playoff teams? Are they going to be out? Like, where are they going to go? And what he said was, in the NFC, the Eagles, Lions, Rams, 49ers, and Commanders are his teams that are real Super Bowl contenders, and the Bucks and Vikings are maybes. That's a lot. First of all, that's a lot of teams, and it shows really like how crazy you can get with it in the NFC, especially like how many teams are going to be truly fighting, and that there may not be like that supreme team. Do you agree that the 49ers are Super Bowl contenders the way that he put it? Or are you like, a little too rich for my blood? What do you think?
Eagles, Lions, Rams, 49ers, and Commanders, maybe Bucks and the Vikings.
Mm-hmm. Yep. NFC teams. Yep.
I don't know about the Commanders. I mean, they kind of had a lightning in the bottle season last year.
I agree.
Asking them to replicate that. I've looked at their schedule. They actually have a primetime schedule, so they're gonna get their opponents this year. Even last year, just how they were built, your quarterback is the leading rusher of your team. You didn't even have 1,000-yard rusher. Jaden did 85, only ran for 800 yards. They had some really weird games that they won late last year out of nowhere. I'm automatically thinking about the Eagles game where they came back. Also, the Chicago Bears game, that was a Hail Mary, I believe. I just think that the Commanders, and then also them replicating what they did last year as far as roster is concerned, they've got to get Terry McLaurin signed. That's a big deal. Now,
yes,
even if they get him in the building, which I believe that they will eventually get him in the building, we know that whether you sign him or not, if he starts missing training camp, we already saw how that plays out. So I don't know what the Commanders are going to do. As far as the Lions are really just, it's just as simple. Can Dan Campbell hold down the ship after losing Ben Johnson and Coach Glenn,
yeah.
to the Jets? Really, we're gonna figure out if that whole mantra of the team, that culture, left with those two coaches, or if it stayed with Coach Campbell. I really feel that way because as far as talent is concerned, the Lions. This is one thing people forget about the Lions. The Lions were in it not only for coaching because they had phenomenal coaching last year, but they were still in it because of that deep-ass roster. They were so hurt last year. They had so many guys out on defense and still were fighting and competing and still went to the playoffs, right? So the Lions healthy and being galvanized around Dan Campbell with what they know the league is saying about them right now, losing Coach Glenn and Ben Johnson, I would say that the Lions they're a tough out. The Eagles, I think they're humming. They didn't lose anything. They got better, honestly. The Eagles they won the Super Bowl and are still sitting up top. I don't see anybody really better there's not a more complete team than the Eagles, in my opinion. So I would go with the Eagles, the Lions. If anything, I think the Rams are going to be good because I think the Rams are going to be good due to them shocking a lot of people with their run game. Don't look now, but the Rams got an O-line. They got a real O-line. And I know a lot of people don't like to tout it. I've heard some comments about some people thinking that the Niners have like one of the best O-lines in the division. That's cap. All right. The best O-line and the best team in our division is the Rams. And if they put it all together at the right time, on top of the uptick of what they got in Jared Verse and what's the other guy that they got on their D-line? The other edge that they got. Fisk. Come on, man. So to be honest with you, what it really comes down to with the Rams right now is if we play, I got another one for you. I think the Rams are going to get another piece in the middle of the year to put them over the top.
Maybe, but
I'd say the Rams. If the Rams are there, then you have to say no for us. Right now, I just think that there's a lot of moving parts for us. We have a ton of guys coming back on injury, not considering a lot of rookies that are coming in and we need to start. Some of these rookies that we have right now that they're just signing, they're still hurting. We haven't even played them. Alfred Collins. So right now, I would slow down on where we are now. If you just look at the caliber of the team, right? We have multiple guys that have been to the promised land. They've been to the Super Bowl. They know how to traverse through a season. They know the ebbs and flows of hitting rookie walls, understanding trap games, staying healthy, playing through injuries when you need to, being ready to get hot at the right time. We understand that. But can Kyle Shanahan get out of his own way? One of the things that I feel as though that wasn't really highlighted last year is that when you have as many players go down as we did last year, it's not an exposure of the roster, but it's an exposure of the coach to see what he can do. That's why people love Mike Tomlin so much, okay? It's not the fact that Mike Tomlin, if you take Mike Tomlin and go after his playoff career, his playoff record, he's one of the most average coaches, if not overrated coaches in the NFL, right? But the reason why Mike Tomlin is loved, the reason why he keeps the job is because of what he does with so little. how many times have we watched watched seasons where the Steelers have essentially put together an entire season out of pure thin cloth, right? That's what we need to see. That's what we didn't see out of Kyle last year, is that he's a 5-star chef, but he's not a line cook. And sometimes you got to be a line cook when you need to put together lower tiered ingredients. And for us, there's going to be times where I think there's going to be an inflow this season with Kyle. I think there's going to be times where he can be a 5-star chef because guys are healthy, everybody's ready to go, and he can call plays at his usual clip and expect things to get done as far as execution. But what's going to happen is we're going to get some injuries. Things are going to clip off, and Kyle's going to have to calibrate, not with plays, but with usage, knowing who to play and when to get them out there. And that's when we'll really see what the season is worth. And I think that in that pursuit, we may barely make the playoffs. So I don't think that we got a lot to happen for us to be in the Super Bowl conversation. As a matter of fact, if you look at it, the Bucks, the Vikings, the Eagles, the Lions, and the Rams, outside of maybe the Bucks, most of them have more of a chance to go to the Super Bowl than us.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just have less question marks, right? Like, I don't think either of us are saying, or at least I'm not. I'll speak for myself. I'm not saying that something crazy can't happen or that it's impossible. But when you're making predictions, you have to look at like what is most likely to happen. What is most likely to happen? When I look up and down the 49ers roster, how many guys do I got to say if they're healthy? Hey, if they're healthy, man, if Trent Williams is healthy, if Bosa's healthy, if CMC's healthy, hey, if Ayuk is healthy, hey, do you know that if Kittle is healthy, you have to like put that out for almost all the important players. And that's, I mean, or hey, if Michael Williams can not play like a rookie, or if Alfred Collins,
right,
or, it's just, there's too many what ifs. And it's like, well, ultimately, all of those aren't going to fall into place. They're just not. Some of those are, and every team has what ifs. I'm not saying, it's not as if the 49ers are the only ones, but they have more than the Rams. The Rams what if is, what if Matthew Stafford gets hurt? And that's a big what if. I do get that. But that's like their main what if. Like that's the biggest one. So I have to go with the law of averages and say, well, that team should be better. Eagles, what if Saquon Barkley can't stay healthy? That's a real thing. But even without him, they still have a lot of talent. They would still be a tough out.
Yeah.
I think the Commanders have some what ifs that worry me. I think the Lions have some what ifs that should worry people as well. What if they're not able to recover from losing both those coordinators? That's a real valid question. That's a real valid question. So I think that's the way you have to look at it. I do think that the 49ers, with as much money as they have to spend, let's say they added a Simmons, right? Before the season.
Safety.
In August, they added Simmons at safety. And then they start out 6-2 and they make a trade deadline deal. Hey, 8 weeks in, we might look at the 49ers and be like, hey, they do have a real shot. But right now, I have to look at the law of averages and say, I don't think they have a real shot. But I do want to talk about a point that you brought up, which is Kyle Shanahan. It's crazy because they either make it to at least an NFC championship or they don't make the playoffs. First 2 seasons he was here, he gets a pass for not making the playoffs. He's rebuilding the team. I get it. But since then, the 2 years he didn't make the playoffs, injuries. Oh, it's injuries. But the years that they made the playoffs, you can almost say that he's underachieved every step of the way. I mean, if you're being honest, they've had the best team on paper at least 3 of those times they were in the NFC Championship, and they came away with 0 Super Bowls. I mean, as far as they made it, they have kind of underachieved. And what I look at Kyle this year is, this could be the first year where I can say truly, if you win even just a playoff game, at least for me, you would actually exceed my expectations for that team when it's all said and done. So I think there's a lot on his plate.
You know what really annoys me is how we move the goalposts for this guy just to get him to be normal, right? it's like Kyle gets a gold star just for eating his peas. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh wow, you found out how to coach through a mediocre team and get more out of them than what they should have done. Congratulations. Like, you know what? You're not wrong. I'm not pettifogging like your take. You're right. Kyle being able to pull through a team that is struggling and actually make them decent and get to the playoffs, that would be a feather in his cap. The only problem is that it shouldn't be. Not at this stage of his career. It shouldn't be. And that's why I'm out on him. He's still doing this at this stage of his career. We're begging him just to make the best out of what he's got. Kyle, please stop throwing away not the best of what you want. He's like a kid who's throwing away all the crust off his bread. Like, I don't want this. This isn't good enough. Make the meal better. It's like, dude, can you just eat? So for me, man, let's cut to the chase. Is Kyle Shanahan ever going to win a Super Bowl as a head coach with the 49ers?
With the 49ers? No, I don't think so.
No, it's never going to happen.
I don't think so.
So right now, all we're essentially doing is trying to figure out more creative ways for him to fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the argument that Brother Bob had with me because I said that they shouldn't fire Kyle early on in this offseason. I was like, I wouldn't fire him. But he's like, well, do you think that he's ever going to win a Super Bowl here? And I said, no. He goes, well, then why are we wasting our time? I'm like, it's a fair point. It is a fair point, but there is something that has to do with like the reason I say don't fire him is that first of all, you throw him in, you clean up this mess that you made, like clean it up before you get out of here. That's number one. But number two, you have to portray to the rest of the league that you're not just like on some crazy ish and going to fire everybody because the rest of the league looks at Kyle like, oh, how could you ever? If they just fired him after that season, they'd be like, how could you ever do that to Kyle? He's going to find a job right away. Why would I go to the 49ers? I'm not going to feel safe there. If they can get rid of Kyle, they can get rid of anybody. You can't seem unruly to the rest of the league. So you almost have to have him screw up 2 years in a row before you can justify even moving on from him. Otherwise, you're not going to get anybody good, in my opinion.
Yeah. I just feel like I'm watching a really, really long episode of Fyre Festival with the Niners. Like, it's a very long, drawn-out Fyre Festival.
Maybe. You might be. Harris says, no four-man front. No, not tonight. We'll be back next week. Grant's on vacation. Hugo says, Jess, if my financial situation is good, I'm planning to get tickets to go to the Niners versus Tampa game. I would love to get seats with you. Let me know where you're at. I haven't bought tickets yet. I will be at that game for sure. But I'll probably be, you can expect that I'll be on the 49er side. I'll be in the 100 level and I'll be 10 yards either side of the 50-yard line. So that's usually where I'm going to sit when I go to the game. So if you buy tickets in there, you'll at least run into me. Dave says, truck bros, coach. I take the Jeeps into the mountains, though. I lined up another to buy this weekend, and it will be on the channel. I love climbing these mountains and seeing what most won't. It's awesome. That Jeep stuff is pretty dope to watch. I'm not going to lie.
I got to watch it. He's got me intrigued. I want to watch it.
I mean, it's kind of cool. Herbie says, what's up, Herbie? He says, 49ers will be trash. Stop being delusional. Stop being delusional. Purdy's no good. Shanahan's no good. Too many rookies. 5-12. Stop it.
5-12 is too much.
I didn't know. They're not going to be worse than they were last year. There's zero.
Yeah.
Could I see a scenario where they come up a game short of the playoffs? Certainly. But again, we're talking law of averages. I think 10 to 11 wins, I can find them pretty easily. So if they, on the flip side, Kyle can massively underachieve this year for sure. And that I will say this year is going to be very, very obvious if he were to underachieve and or overachieve. And what I mean by that is the grace of always defensive coordinator or always quarterback. Everybody loves Brock Purdy. Everybody loves Robert Saleh. So if you don't make the playoffs with that schedule and those guys, all the excuses, I mean, everybody would be out quick on Kyle. I guarantee it because of Robert Saleh and Brock Purdy. So it will be very obvious if he underachieves this year, and there will be no outs for him. On the other side, though, if they win a playoff game, I think it would be pretty obvious that they overachieved this year too. Like I do. So to me, it's going to be pretty clear cut this year. In other years, it's like, I don't know, maybe this or that. No, it's going to be very clear cut. At least it should be. We'll see.
I mean, I agree.
Joseph says Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy will never win a Super Bowl here. 3-14. Jeez, man. Come on. There's no way. You guys can't seriously believe this. I do agree, though. I do agree. So,
do you feel like the reason why there's going to be limited practices for camp is because they don't want us to set the stage on what we're seeing at camp?
I don't know.
The only reason why you have limited public practices is literally to keep it away from the fans. It's really bothering me to keep it away from the fans. Like, what is form tackling in drills gonna give away that fans can see? Like, what is this?
Yeah, I mean, I will say that we've definitely had a good feel of what the 49ers were or were not going to be over the last couple training camps. So we can glean a lot from it. But I think the average fan that is going is just, they're literally going to like have a day, enjoy it with their family or their kids. They're not there to psychoanalyze the 49ers. And that's what's frustrating. It's like, again, the rant you had earlier is nothing really to do with either of us. Like, we'll either go or we won't. We'll be fine either way. I'm not tripping. But for the average fan to not even know what days to take off work, even if you live in that area, it is crazy. That's
foul.
It's pretty messed up. It's actually really messed up.
Like, it's no self-awareness. Like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? It's like, how are you a good organization and you miss that? Like let us know the date. So how about this? Imagine this. We don't want to tell you when to come support us because we know you'll support us anyway. That's what this says. That's what this says, basically. Whatever. When we give you another sniff of our ass, you'll come running. But right now, scram. It's ridiculous.
It is crazy. Joseph and Herbie doubled down. So they really do mean what they're saying. Hey, kudos. Listen, I disagree with it, but I love that you guys are like passionate about your take. And that's one thing I will say. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about being able to defend your take. And I like that. Joseph says Brock isn't even a top 32 quarterback in the league. That's correct. Woo, man. Okay. All right.
That's hot.
Disagree with that one, but I love it. Herbie says, I already put 200 on it. This is good. That the 49ers are 5-12 and they will not be good. Put my money on my prediction. I
respect that.
I respect the heck out of it.
Really favorable season.
You got a lot. I will say this. We talked about all of the things that could go wrong. In order for a 5-12 season to
everything
happen,
has to go wrong.
All of it has to go wrong. Yeah. So what again, the law of averages. I don't think all of it's going to go right. I certainly don't think it's all going to go wrong. And so to me, that puts you at, 9 to 11 wins most of the time. So I can't see them. The wheels would have to fall off very quickly for a 5-12 season. And I don't know that it would happen that quick, even if it did. So Dave says, Coach, I promise you, like the birthday trip. All right. Okay. Which was on his channel. It was for his birthday. So
I got to go see that. I'm about to go see it.
Wink says, she's toughest game on the schedule this year? Oh, who's the toughest game? I'm like, who's she? Game? Who is the toughest game on the schedule this year? I mean, the Rams, I think, but I think it does sound weird, but that Cleveland game to me right now is a scheduled loss. Just because you're playing 13 straight weeks without a bye, knowing that the biggest question marks around this team, really, whether you want to go with the rookies or you want to go with some of those veterans, is either staying healthy from the veteran aspect, and for the rookies, some of it is staying healthy, but also not hitting that rookie wall. 13 weeks in a row is a recipe for disaster. I just look at that going into a bye week later in the season. The weather probably won't be favorable. Also knowing they've got a defensive coordinator that whoops Kyle every time they play.
Whoops.
I look at that as a scheduled loss. So oddly enough, because of the circumstances, I think Cleveland might be the toughest game, but not near the toughest opponent, if that makes sense. Wink also says, who don't you want to see in the playoffs?
Anybody in our division.
Yeah, I would say the Rams probably.
The Rams,
I wouldn't want to see him a third time. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
You know what would kill me? I hate that because it's like when you make it into the playoffs, no matter what you've done to get there, if you face a team that you had to play to get there, it's almost like kissing your sister. It's like, is this really the playoffs? Yeah, why are we playing Seattle again? Yeah, like I do not want to do this.
I would say on the surface, no to see it, like, Seattle, whatever. But I have the 49ers sweeping Seattle. And I don't know what the stats say. I should probably look into it. I think the stats actually don't say this, but there is the old, it is hard to beat a team 3 times in a year thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because they see
I have them winning twice. Yeah. So I would say, whatever.
I see
a lot of people in here.
So if you have a sweep in Seattle, you have us winning week 1.
I do. Yeah. I have them sweeping Seattle, splitting with Arizona, and getting swept by the Rams.
I got splitting with Seattle, splitting with Arizona, and getting swept by the Rams.
So you only have them go. You have them 2-4 in the division. I have them 3-3. Okay, interesting. But you think they're gonna lose week 1 to Seattle? Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I'll say this.
You want to hear my season predictions? We want to hear my win-loss rate? I can go win-loss.
Fans are going to spiral quick if they lose to Seattle week 1.
I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you my. I'll give you all 17 games. Are you ready for this?
Just give me the losses. Give me the losses because I know the schedule. Give me the losses.
All right, Seattle, week 1. Okay. You want me to give you the week of the loss?
Sure.
All right, Seattle week 1.
Okay.
Rams week 5.
Okay.
Houston week 8.
Okay.
Rams week 10.
Okay.
Arizona week 11.
Okay.
Cleveland week 13.
Okay.
And Chicago week 17.
So 10-7.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I got them at 11-6. I got them at 11-6. So I don't think we're that far off.
Yep, I got them at 10-7 this year.
I think the difference is I have them beating Chicago, beating Seattle. So that's, and then losing to the Bucs. So that's how I got to my 6. But I agree on Cleveland. I agree on the Rams. I agree on splitting with Arizona. I agree on the Texans. I just don't have them losing to Chicago or Seattle, and then I have them losing to the Bucs. So
you have us splitting with the Rams too.
No, I have us losing twice to the Rams.
Okay, I got us getting swept by the Rams too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the Rams sweeping. Yeah.
All right.
Frisco Shill says they be saying Rattler's better than Stop.
That's crazy.
No Rattler sucks.
That's not even fair.
Well, this is wow.
That's a great. Thank you, Steve-O. Goodness, from the depths with a real question. Isn't that crazy? Look, I love that question, and I would say, yeah, I hope he does. How many backs do you think we're going to keep? Plus not Christian McCaffrey, but plus Kyle Juszczyk. 5?
4.
4 backs.
4 plus him, 5 with him. Yeah.
5 with him. All right. So 4 backs. My 4 backs obviously are Christian, Garindo, Jordan James, and Patrick Taylor Jr.
I mean, it's going to be tough. I agree with the first 3. I'll be different. I'll say no. I'll say he won't. I'll say that Kiner beats him out or Benaconda beats him out.
Doesn't make you think Corey Kiner beats out Patrick
Taylor Jr.? I said I'll be different just to be different. I think the last spot is between Taylor, Kiner, and Benaconda. And I'll say that one of those other two.
Pull up
beat 'em
Steve-O's
out.
comment. I'll do this in a heartbeat. This is the thing. I've got 5 of these, so I can wear a different shirt. But you, when Patrick Taylor Jr. makes the team, I want you to call in, man. Steve-O, you never call in with your Packers fan having ass. Call in.
I do think Steven needs to call in for sure.
He does. I gotta put a voice with the
He
troll.
needs a different shirt. Different
I
shirt.
got you.
That's fair.
That's
fair.
literally wear a different colored shirt. I got you.
Different. It's got to be different. It's so funny that universally we know that if you say the word twice, what that means.
What that means. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
not new.
You got to be better. Yeah.
Better.
Yeah.
That's his new girlfriend. Hold on, wait a minute. That's his new girlfriend. Well, not new. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's his new girlfriend. Not new, but new.
New.
Herbie says, just because Coach and Jesse are good, Coach, are you doing your lives during the 49er games this year? Yeah, you are, right?
I got more for you. Not only am I doing the lives this year, but I'm also calling Monday night and Thursday night games too. So I'm going to be doing the lives plus Monday night games and Thursday night games.
Nice. That'll be dope. That'll be super dope. I'll tell you this too. Coach has been working behind the scenes. You're going to have there's going to be some cool stuff on those streams. So make sure you definitely.
You guys are going to love the call-in shows. The live watch shows, we've been working all summer. So it's going to be good.
Definitely tap into those. All right. Well, because of our fake argument, we can't get to all the topics, right? We do this every week, but I will choose one more here. So I'm going to go with this one because this one kind of had me twisted a little bit. I did a show for Bleacher Report last Thursday, and I took 5 publications and how they ranked the 49ers this offseason, how their offseason went. And I was kind of shocked at how bad the grades were. So I'm going to read them off real quick. Bleacher Report, oddly enough, gave the 49ers a D for the offseason. PFF gave them a D. Sports Illustrated, D-. CBS Sports gave them a C+, and Pro Football Sports Network gave them a D. If we're doing a GPA, that's a 1.2.
You ain't even make it in. You can't even play with those grades.
You're ineligible, my man. Wow. Okay. So what do you think their offseason was that bad? Why or why not? I was kind of shocked because I feel like the 49ers get the benefit of the doubt a lot of the times. And nobody gave them the benefit of the CBS giving them the benefit of the doubt was like, oh, I'll give them a C+.
Yeah, giving them a D. That's okay. Okay, so let's do it their way. Before we go against them, let's try to understand why, right? So give me we'll alternate, but give me your top 3 holes that were not rectified this year, that you think were not covered this offseason. All right, so I'll go with one. Right?
Okay.
It's obvious, but just to show you, we didn't do anything for safety at all, right? It's a huge hole.
Well, they did. They brought in 2 guys, but maybe not at the caliber that you're looking for.
Even more so. Like the fact that they even try. Sometimes you ever heard the expression like, I would have rather not done anything at all than what you just did. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, they got Pinnock in there, but it almost can be looked at as a Band-Aid, which almost bringing in a player that's not really worthy of a starting caliber spot kind of exposes your vulnerability more than it would. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, you brought this guy in here? What else are you going to bring? Right? So it's almost kind of like the Texans in their left tackle situation. So one is the safety. They did not bring safety. Chris McForty-Niner said, Mr. 49er said they're good at safety. On what planet?
Right. In this moment, I don't know that they have a starting caliber safety on the team.
One.
Like in this moment. No, not one. Because Malik Mustafa's hurt.
My man said they're fine at safety. Come on, bro. All right. I went 1. You go. Off-season elements. What did they do? What did they feel? Why would they get a D?
Well, I mean, I think why they would get a D, that's an easy one for me to answer
Good.
because they're strictly looking at players out and players in. So you look at
Oh
names like
well, the
Greenlaw
agent
and Hargrave and
sucked. Yeah.
Hafunga and Leonard Floyd and Travarius Ward and Jordan Mason and I mean, we can go off on this. And so I can understand why they would give them a D. Like I really can. I really truly can. The question is why would you give them a higher grade than a D? And I want to hear your thoughts on that because I've got a
Oh,
reason why.
I've got a lot of reasons why they
Okay.
don't deserve a D. I was
Okay.
trying to do the inverse.
Yeah.
One, one, they shored up the coaching staff, right? I mean,
Okay.
I know we're all
Yep.
talking about Robert Saleh coming in and filling in for Nick Sorensen, but that was a huge upgrade. I mean, you want to talk about ashy to classy? That is like one of the most problematic coaches that we had on this staff. Almost was a shaky hire, and then we go from that to Robert Saleh, which is also we got rid of the special teams coach. Brent Boyer was a huge hit to bring on to the coaching staff. Also we shored up the cap. For me, that was us ripping the Band-Aid off on a Debo Samuel, moving on from guys that not necessarily robbing Peter to pay Paul or getting emotionally hijacked by keeping Dre or keeping Huff, right? That could have been a huge situation. Also, having a conversation with Javon Hargraves to send him his walking papers, to get him out of here. That was huge, right? Then you want to turn right back around, and I love our draft. Like, we had a great draft, as far as, we haven't seen what the guys have done yet. I get that. But all roads lead to positivity with what we did. And I feel like this draft, outside of years past drafts, we actually pushed towards like a narrative, like a context. Like, it wasn't just make sure that we sprinkle guys in who have skill sets. Nah, we went out and we shored up a huge hole that you can't even start an NFL season with, which is not being able to rush the passer or stop the run, right? So for me, I feel like we did the best that we could, and we got a lot of headway done. And what's emblematic of the moves that we made is, number one, all of the rookies that we got are playing, right? So we needed these guys. That's one. So we actually filled a hole because if we didn't, these guys would be sitting on the bench. And then two, if you look at our cap situation, you can look at what we let go, and you can also look at the guys that didn't come back or the guys that we could have signed, or Dre Greenlaws, where it looks like the Niners lowballed them, or Debo Samuels, whatever. But numbers don't lie. We got top 3 cap space in the league with, I think, the highest dead money in the league. So for a short amount of time, if you look at the context, we got a lot done. I think we had a good offseason. Everything wasn't covered, but we handled the best parts, the most important.
I think that's where the difference comes in, right? And I again, I understand why they gave the grades that they gave because they're looking at it in a snapshot of who got better or worse on paper, why or why not, and doing it in a context of one off season. And when you do that, I can understand why they would come up with the grade that they came up with. We look at it differently. And you said exactly what I said, which is the reason that the grade is much higher is because of the context of the future of this team and setting yourself up for success long term. Like, sometimes you have to take a step backwards to take a couple steps forward. And the 49ers took that step back, yes, but that's so that they can be competitive for years to come. And for that reason, the offseason is better. Now, I can't sit here and be like, oh, it was an A. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to gaslight you there. But I think the CBS, the C plus, that's about, I think when I did grades 2 months ago, that's about the grade that I gave them.
All
and
things
I think
considered, how could we possibly do better?
Well, I mean, I do.
This is a good question.
No, this is a great question. But so if we're going with the context of we're going to give a higher grade because we're building towards the future, if you really wanted to build, and not just build towards the future, but build towards the future, you would have ripped the Band-Aid off on players like Juszczyk, maybe even Trent or CMC. You see what I'm saying? Like, you would have gone a little bit further. I understand why they didn't, at least for the Trent and CMC situation. But if you really wanted to set yourself up for the future, that's something that you could have done to free up even more in the upcoming years.
Look at Chris, Mr. 49er. He says, Coach, I watch you say that the Niners reached on almost every pick. That's not facts. That's not facts. I was upset with the Alfred Collins pick, but I love the Mikael Williams pick. As a matter of fact, I defended the Nick Martin pick over a lot of people that said that it was a reach. I like the Nick Martin pick, and I love the CJ West pick. I didn't say that they reached on every pick. And if you go up,
I remember you didn't like the Watkins pick, you didn't like the Collins pick, but you did like the for the most part. I thought you liked the rest.
I liked the draft.
I don't think you liked the Maple Missile either. I don't think you were a fan of that one live. Anyway, I'm just going off a live reaction. Doesn't mean that you can't change your opinion.
Are we talking about who's that?
Reaction.
The quarterback?
Yeah, the Maple Missile. What do you mean? Who is that? It's the Maple Missile, my G. What do we?
It's the Maple Missile. Nah, man. I loved all the picks, man. Especially the first pick. I love the Mikael Williams pick. Larry called me 2 days before the draft, and he asked me, who's it going to be? I said, Armand Mimbu. If Armand Mimbu's not there, Mikael Williams all the way. So I love that pick.
Yeah, Mikael Williams was my number 2 of the guys that I thought realistically would be there.
Who was your one?
Walter Nolan.
I'm
a big Walter Nolan guy, yeah. So
I'm going to get a chance to see him this year.
I know. We'll get to see
twice.
Him play. That's what's cool. That's what's cool about it. And it was like, I had them like, it wasn't a lot. It was like, Walter Nolan is my 10 out of 10, and Mikael Williams is my 9.8 out of 10. You know what I mean? I just had Walter Nolan slightly above him. That's all. I still think they reached on a couple of the picks, but I don't know that there's a player that I just genuinely didn't like as a player. I just felt like they reached. Like where they got some of them, I thought was a bit early, but such is life. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Coach, my man, good show.
Good one.
Different day, great show. We'll be back before the 4-man front. We'll be together next Monday. You'll be hosting. It'll be on both of our channels still, but you're hosting next Monday. Then you're also hosting the 4-man front. Good luck, man. This deep into the off season, you got to come up with topics for 2 days. I don't envy that. But you know, what are you gonna do? I mean,
it is what it is. I'll start getting work now.
You know what?
We'll crank it out.
Go sit in your new truck. I'm sure the ideas will come to you. It'll be fine.
Oh, they're gonna come flowing, bro. Excited.
All right, guys. Everybody in the chat, stay blessed. Much love. We'll talk soon. Peace.
All right.